Howdy folks, it's Jake here and we are at the Bonegilla lease. Just going to do a mob check. They're all coming to see what's going on, so maybe they're ready for a paddock move, which would surprise me. We gave them a lot of grass, but it's about the time frame I thought. They're looking full. You can see their rumens are all packed out, so there's no issues there. Plenty of flies about. If you've been watching along, you'll remember this paddock that we grazed really heavily about a fortnight ago, and since then we've had 35 millimetres of rain. This property is about 50 kilometres from where we live, 50 kilometres south, but we had really even rain coverage. All the blocks I manage got about the same. So we're starting to get the pick coming through back up through there. Some of these Jersey and Nguni calves, they're both Jersey and Ngunis. Isn't that interesting? Bomvu my red Nguni bull through mainly brindle, Jersey cross calves, and Kaya has just thrown all these lovely lollipops. Here's one. Come on darling. I think that's a decent looking steer, folks. That's a first cross. He's scurred. See how his horns are underdeveloped? That one too, they're scurred. So they're not polled, but they're not horned. Look at someone's got the runs back there. You can hear it. I think we're going to get a good piece of meat out of you, young man. You guys have put on some size lately. Beautiful. There's a lot of water up here on the ground, I've just noticed. One of the reasons why we come checking the blocks. Maybe someone's broken something. You're a muscly thing, aren't you? There's Kaya. He's the bull that we'll be loading up in a week and a half or so and taking home to join the heifer mob. What have we done here, folks? What have you done? What have you done? Doesn't seem to be leaking. Maybe from over here. Hey? Hey, darling. Is there anything leaking? Doesn't look like it. We'll ask the property owner here to keep an eye on that. He might know of something. Hey, big boy. Ooh. Yeah. I love watching the Nguni hide twitch. They've been camped here under the shade and someone's obviously pooed on Kaya there. But if you watch him, a fly will land on him and you'll see that ripple on his front shoulder just then. I know all cattle do it, guys, but there is something like a very thin dexterity that the Nguni seem to have. They can really... There it is again. Look at his tail, just happily flopping. You're a beautiful animal. Yeah, mate, he's very docile. He hasn't been in a truck since he came here, and he's probably been on this farm for a good 18 months, I'd say. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes when we load him up. His horns are not that wide, they're a little bit, you're a bit menacing looking. I'd be scared of you if I didn't know you a bit better. But I think he'll work through the yards okay. I've trying to rope together a friend who I contract a little bit of yard work when things are maybe a little bit less known, when maybe we have, look at them go. Maybe we have a bit of yard work that's a little bit more hectic than normal. Maybe we're trying to wean calves off some spicy mums or something. So I've got one gentleman I normally do that work with. I called him this morning and we're trying to work out some dates, and what we'll do is we'll come to this block. The yards are right there, so I'm hoping I don't have to move the cattle this week and they can stay a bit longer, and then they'll be a lot easier to bring into the yards than if I have to corral them from right down the back, round them up. And what we'll do is we'll castrate any of the cross calves We'll tag everything that's new on the ground. We'll split out Kaya and we'll take him home that day. And we will also draft out 4 killers. And that's a job I'm hoping to do next week. Now look, they've grazed this rather nicely. You can see if I took them out of here, the pastures would bounce. But there is a lot of feed here. Now, unfortunately, we can't always make decisions based on grass growth. It's definitely a major contributing factor, probably the most, but we also have logistics to work around and stockpiling. I think summer's going to be rough. I really think we're in for a rough summer. Dry autumn, dry winter, dry spring. Doesn't add up for a great summer. And if we get late summer's rains or late spring's rains or rain in early summer, we're not going to be growing much forage. We're going to be growing a lot of thistles and broadleaves and things that are low value. I like you. This steer here is the first Nguni cross calf we ever had. Number U1 out of a shorthorn. See, you're a nice looking thing too. These steers are slicking off and they've picked up condition beautifully since they've come to this property. And I'm really happy with these calves. These Jersey cross calves are just looking really fleshy. Look at them, ready? Here they come. Aren't they fantastic? Yeah. Randy. Look at you guys. You can tell your mums are looking after you. These are twins. That one here is actually not my breeding. Came off one of those rodeo cows that I did a video about, and he was absolutely bananas, so we castrated him. I was told he was a purebred. I have my doubts. He was absolutely nuts. And I kept him in the yards and fed him and watered him there for about a week. Spent time with him every day to try to calm him down. Geez, I'd come near him and he'd keep running into panels till he gave himself a blood nose, and I'd essentially say we made almost no progress in that week. They're an inquisitive bunch, aren't they? We talk about the animals being, I talk a lot, I like the Johann Zeitsman, sort of, I guess, cattleman's philosophy, the EBVs, the breeding values, they're all, it's all good information, it's all worthwhile, but I really believe you can look at an animal and tell a lot. And this animal here, to me, looks a bit rubbish, really. Fluffy, dirty, got a small gut compared to the rest and got a weird lump there. Hey, and you're just a bit of a sadder looking unit. To be sure, he's fine. He's also the shittiest. Look at him, big. You're full. But when you compare that animal to one of his brothers, number 7 here, I think you look a lot nicer, big boy. Hey? Well, that first one I showed you. Still not hot here, we're still losing fur. Come on. Come on. Aren't you scared of them with the horns? Maybe I should be. But when you spend so much time with your animals, they're generally lovely. Anyway, folks, we're just walking up to this fence. I just want to do a quick paddock walk in the next paddock. The cattle will not hurt being in here another week. But maybe what we can do is in this next paddock, we can just fence them in to a week's worth. Give them a couple acres. and set up a portable trough down there, and then they'll still be reasonably close to bring back to home. I can just fence up a laneway and chop them down. It's always nice to not have to set up a laneway and just call the cows and they come, but really, 500 meters of laneway takes you 20-30 minutes to set up, and then you can leave it up for quite a while and use it. You guys got asthma or something? Look at this, they haven't even touched the feed on this end of the paddock. That shows you they haven't even ventured down here. Look at this. This next paddock down here is the most challenging to graze. It's probably, I'd have to look at a map properly, but it's probably 60 to 70% of the farm's space in one paddock with no permanent water. We did run water line with the property owner when we first came here a couple of years ago. So we can rotate around it with a portable trough. We have had hiccups with the trough on this property because you got so many animals in the bull and 3 households all pulling out of the same well. And if something happens for a small period of time and the trough empties, and this is a situation we had last summer, there was a failure at the well and the trough emptied, and then they knock it over, and you don't always know. Maybe they've got issues up at the house and the other tenants. The property owner here's away a lot, so if the tenants have issues and it doesn't get passed along the discussion line, it becomes an issue. That's some brilliant feed. We've got a lot of feed down here. This is wanting to be grazed. Okay, so that fence line, it's probably 150 meters that way. That's where water is. So what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna walk out $50-70 meters. And we'll throw up a hot wire, step in a temporary fence. Look at it. Oh, they're bawling for it. That feed behind them is quality feed, but they're bawling. I bet you they can smell what's in here. Grazing's a stimulant, so when there's more moisture and everything in the ground, we'll hit it, it'll come back with a vengeance this time of year. What I'll do is I'll use this as my corner post. I'll fence straight up, I'll give them all that. That'll do them for a week. I'll plumb in water down the end, and then when I want to bring them home, I'll just cut a little laneway where we just walked, or they might even follow me back. The problem with running them back and not setting up a laneway is when you get right to the end, half go in the yards, half don't. And if there's only one of you, normally what I would do is get here before the hired help and have them in the yards ready, just to save time and expense. I was here with Otto last week and he was loving hiding, and he'd walk in here and you couldn't even see him. Gorgeous. Rightio, another stunning day at Bonegilla, folks. Have a great day.